because non-conventional is more environment friendly. The supercritical technology at Pithead, the Sasan plant will be given ₹1 19 paise per unit, while the solar power continues to cost more than 15 rupees per unit. So the gap between the two powers is very high in India, which is perhaps not so in Europe or the United States. So this gap will have to be closed if the new and renewable sources are to be accepted, because we have to remember that in the villages, affordability is the question. So affordable power is to be made available, it will have to be the cheapest source. Another concern is that the solar standalones don't want to remain standalones longer. They want to be converted to the grid. So that means whether it is solar, whether it is wind turbine or any other form, will have to be ultimately grid connected. Standalone systems, that is the DDG, at best will be a temporary solution for a few years.
Distinguished panelists and ladies and gentlemen, the IT, I think, is going to be a prime driver in the power sector, especially in the distribution reform. And we have been debating in our country for quite a length of time about the power sector reform, which basically revolves around distribution reform, and not much is happening. Let me tell you that this morning we had a data that the AT&C losses in the country are about 29%. That's the figure that's declared by the utilities and collated by the PFC. But if you look at the profit and loss accounts of all the utilities and do some back calculations, you will go to some other figure. Losses today also, I think, are higher than what is being touted. Of course, it has come down significantly, because the utility that I represent, we used to quote losses of around 19-20%. It was in the range of about 50-55%. It has come to somewhere around 23-24%. And there is scope to bring it down. And IT can be a big driver to bring down the losses, because it brings in the accountability, which is one of the major areas of concern in distribution. Is the governance, which is the major issue in distribution, not investment or the lack of it. On the generation side also, we need to go for the efficient technologies, so that our carbon footprint comes down. And all these things are happening in India, and I'm sure that India will be almost at par with the rest of the world. As I see it, say smart grid technology, there will be no time lag between, say, the developed world and India. Maybe the time lag could be maximum 2 to 3 years, because some of the utilities are already working on it. And on the supercritical and even better technologies, I think we'll catch up with the rest of the world. So all the things are not going to be bleak, and we'll certainly have good future in place. So one has to be very cautious about the merchant power plants, possibly a mix of about, say, 80 to 85% on the long-term PPAs and about 15 to 20% on the merchant capacity, the right mix. Some of the investors in the gold rush are taking hasty decisions, and that may cause problems later. 5 years from now, only the efficient producers will be able to sell power, the way we are going ahead with the merchant power plant. So there is a word of question. Thank you very much.
Just to bring the context of the session into focus, the energy equity, if you look at what are the two basic energy services, which is electricity and transportation. Access to these basic services has really made the difference for our lives, and that is the basic difference between the haves and have-nots. And therefore, the energy equity policies become the major objectives of any energy policy of the country. So, the integrated energy policy document prescribes that energy efficiency improvement solutions are actively being pursued. Supercritical plants are coming up. There are development activities taking place in IGCC applications. Supercritical, further we are going to move towards ultra supercritical initiatives. Government of India started an initiative ultra supercritical, where 700 degrees Celsius is going to be the temperature, operating temperature. And this initiative, under the Principal Scientific Advisor to Prime Minister of India, this has taken already a shape. This technology is going to be developed by the country. There are more efficient supercritical power plants renovation and modernization, that is replacing the old sets with new efficient sets, is also taking place parallelly. Transmission distribution losses are also being attacked. Transportation systems are also being made more efficient. Renewable energies, as already mentioned, about 9 to 10% of the installed capacity has been already from renewables, and number of initiatives by the Government of India are going to take this renewables also to a considerable level by 2020. Thank you.
I must congratulate Indian Chamber of Commerce and Ministries of New and Renewable Energy, Power and Department of Science and Technology for selecting this climate change and the energy challenge, a pragmatic approach for India, as the theme of this year's Energy Summit. Now this session is dealing with pursuing the sustainable way. All the renewable energy is not firm energy. It cannot be scheduled. With except for if you take the biomass-based Rankine cycle-based generation or the bagasse-based cogeneration, you will find that the other energy, particularly like wind, solar, these have the real problem of scheduling and it's not firm. So what we have tried to do, we have tried to look at it in a different, again in the forum of regulators, what we could do. And one of the difficulties we found that many states don't have much difficulty in building the state transmission utility line for evacuation, because most of these sites are in remote areas. And so the usual model that you say that the green energy is again good for the power system, because wherever it is generated it is consumed. But if you were to take Jaisalmer, you will find that you may generate wind or solar there, but it will have to be taken over long distances. So in that case, states have the usual argument that we will build up transmission lines within the state. But if the same energy is to go outside, then we will charge transmission charges, and which are based on percentage term. Now in case of solar, where the cost per unit today is 15 rupees, if you were to take percentage term, it works out very high. So that's why we had taken a decision that anything for the state which is interstate, there will be no transmission losses and charges. But when it comes to the state, obviously this issue cannot be resolved in a center state. So what we have done is we have agreed that only the incremental cost will be worked out, and the CA is part of this working group, and we have worked out those costs, and we hope to do this thing. So these are the few important things. I again thank the organizers for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to present what the regulators are doing. Thank you so much.